Starting from nothing, born without a penny to your name. You know that point where there ain't really much to lose but everything to gain. Starting from scratch, you know that point of no return. That point where mistakes don't look like mistakes, cause mistakes are where you learn.
Many different changes. I used to live in Ghana when I was younger, and at the time that I was living in Ghana, it was like a war zone. Basically, we had a civil war at the time. So growing up there, I had that experience when I was really young of living in that environment. And also just coming to this country. You know, coming here as kind of more in a kind of a way, kind of like an immigrant, and then adjusting to life here.
I didn't have the best childhood and I didn't grow up in the nicest area, but I had my siblings around me and good friends. I had to grow up quite quickly. I moved out when I was 15 and I've been by myself ever since. I then had my daughter when I was 20, and then at the age of 22 I went through an abusive relationship. All these things for me have been hurdles, but they've only encouraged me and pushed me on in my own personal journey.
The highlight of my career, I would say, is starting off on a role, like doing the admin role, and then moving forward, moving on to a higher role, more paid role. So that's been the highlight for me.
For me, it was even going onto site and seeing, when I started, none of that structure was there. They were still digging the dirt at the bottom, nothing was there. So me sitting down here and watching it start from the bottom and work its way up, I think that's the thing I've enjoyed the most, and going out there and looking around and seeing everything there and the structure and going up and knowing that I'm going to be there when it finishes, and I was there from the beginning.
My highlight would probably be getting the job here at Second Chance. I came in as just an administrator, and after 2 months working here, I was promoted to office manager. It's the highest role I've ever had, and I'm only 26, so it's an achievement to get that sort of position at my age. I'd say my lowest point was facing redundancy, which I went through last year at my previous job. Not knowing what you're going to go on to next, not knowing how I'm going to support myself financially was always a big worry for me. Luckily, this came up shortly after, but going back to the job centre and signing on, it's a humbling experience, and it was something that I had to go through.
Feeling like I applied for work. I've gone through the whole process of finished my GCSEs, I've done my A-levels, I've done my degree, and not being able to use my degree for almost 7 years. Like every other job I found was not really, wasn't relevant to my degree, which was accountancy. And I just felt like I have this student loan to pay, and I'm not making the most of what my degree is, which was an issue. So I think I felt quite low about that.
Lowest point, I was very badly assaulted and hospitalised in 2006, and that had quite a catastrophic impact on my life and for a while my mental health, and it was a bit of a struggle to get back to being on top form and being able to do the roles that I do. I think sometimes you just have to really dig deep. I think when things get tough, you have to really dig deep into your personal reserves And it's really important to know that you've got people around you who care and love you and will support you through thick and thin. And certainly that's for me is the key thing.
Stay positive.
Stick at it, get there eventually.
Yeah.
Everything always comes around.
Well, there is help out there, I think. Whatever you put into something, you'll get out back. You get given back to some degree. So I think, that the first piece of advice I can give you is sort yourself out. Don't expect someone to come along and give you something without you making a big effort.